And so this life is experienced every day as joys and as rage. You can give me a smiley face or give me something there if you just need the slightest thing to tap in to your inner rage. The slightest thing. And I don't mean slight like somebody stepped on your toe. I mean like they pushed a button. They did something, like it was an incident, right? That's the slightest thing that will allow you to tap into your inner rage. This is my virtual hand. Thumbs up. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. CJ, we know. And I would argue that that inner rage is the magnitude of that rage is the magnitude of your capacity to love. You're loving that hard. You're not understanding why this isn't a good fit. I'm a good person. I'm doing good things. I take care of my family. I go to church, like all the things. I'm doing good. Why doesn't it feel good all the time? Right? And therein lies the rage. And so in the midst of this, right, we're told to look for happiness within, because we're not going to find it in the world, because the world is this dukkha, right? We can't actually find happiness in something in which it is not inherent. There is nothing inherent in a Michael Kors. Oh no, that's not. I can't. Look at me. I'm dating myself. Gucci, right? I think that's so cool. There's nothing inherently happy about a Gucci bag. It doesn't hold happiness. It doesn't, it doesn't contain, when you open it up, happiness not inside, right? It is our perception. It is what we are experiencing within in relation to that Gucci bag. That is happiness. So in actuality, happiness is inside. Literally, it's inside. And but to experience happiness, this is what I realized. We have to be actively in this moment doing the work of coming back to this current moment of what's here right now, whatever that may be, which seems counterproductive, right? Because we're like, no. That's where the Sukha, the dukkha is. I'm not interested in being right here. Right here is my husband in my face. That's what's right here. And I'm not interested in that. But the fact is that we live in an ill-fitting world for a reason. It is our motivation. It is what moves things forward. Our desire to fix what's broken in our world, our inclination to judge our lives based on where we thought we would be, where we are, where we were last year, 10 years ago, where we're supposed to be, that judgment, comparing situation. All of that is our attempt to fix right now so that finally it will be a just right fit. And then when it fits right, I can be happy. So what I discovered recently is how to access that sukha right now, whenever you want it, even in the midst of the dukkha. And when I did, I was like, oh, it's my fault. I don't feel it. It's my fault. I don't feel it. I'm literally not allowing myself to have this when I need it most, which is when the ill-fitting world is trying to get me, y'all. Trying to get me. And that ill-fitting world is chaos. That's what we can call it. It's chaos. There's a universal order and intelligence, a harmony and a balance on one side. And there's an ill-fitting chaos, misunderstanding, darkness, and ignorance on the other side. And this balance is what makes the world go round. And we actually would not be able to know Sukha if we didn't first know Dukkha. Right? You know how I know that's true? Right now, are you enjoying your non-headache? Mm-hmm. So, because we don't go around enjoying moving our bowels today, right? The basics, right? Not having a broke pinky toe. If we could bring up to mind, call into awareness always the joys without knowing the sorrows, then maybe the world can move on that. But that's not how we're built. We don't go around enjoying what's right. We go around looking for what's wrong. So this experiencing the Sukha whenever we want it, this is how it happened, y'all. I be trying to break mindfulness and, I be trying to break down the mysticism into like the components, the right now. Okay, so I was sitting and I was meditating. My life was the chaotic wonder that it is right now. Nothing had changed about it. There was no bill that could suddenly be paid, right? Still in the same place. Doing my meditation, focusing on breathing, focusing on breathing, focusing on breathing. And then I felt a little like across my chest, like a little tingly something, something. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'm feeling metta. Maybe I'm feeling loving today. So I just left it alone, continue breathing, continue breathing. And that little tingly something, without me thinking about it or counteracting it, grew. It just started to grow and grow and grow. And I was like, oh, this feels good. I might stay in this meditation. You kind of, when you're meditating, you're like aware, you kind of come out and then you're back, kind of, right? So you're aware you're sitting on the cushion. That's the whole point of being mindful and meditating. But you also are going within to this place where you're not really focusing your attention on the fact that you're sitting right here on your cushion. And as I oscillated back and forth between that more heightened awareness of now and that more internal awareness of what was going on in the inner landscape, namely in my chest area, torso, was a warmth and a tiny, tiny excitement. That's the only way I could explain it. It was warmth and it was a tiny bit of excitement. But I didn't give it any energy. I just was sitting there, meditating, breathing. And before I knew it, that what started off as a little flutter had pervaded my entire body. And I felt like I was emanating happy waves, happy waves, happy waves. And I didn't intentionally conjure it up. My life, the causes and conditions of my life didn't make it naturally arise. It was me, this chair, this body, this breath, while understanding this place is an ill fit. I didn't all of a sudden think life was great, but I was able in that moment to viscerally experience a happiness that felt like that joy you feel connected to when a family member like has something great or they heal, like that big joy, that big, 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 big one filled me up for no reason at all. And I've had meditations where I get, oh, metta, oh, I feel, I have meditations where I do that. But the distinction between this one and that was the speed, the one pointedness of it. It was like I wasn't imagining, I wasn't doing a visualization meditation. I wasn't doing anything to bring a sensation of calm and happiness to my body. It brought it to me. And I thought to myself, how often does my perception and my resistance keep this from arising on its own? How happy am I actually? Do I know? Right? Like, what if we have a store of happiness inside, like the sages and the gurus been telling us? It's inside, y'all. It's inside. And we like, no, it's not. It's in that purse, right? What if it's inside and literally that ignorance, that darkness, that looking for the problem keeps us from getting in touch with it? And so, what if the saddest story ever was that happiness was closer than we thought? Right. And so I was like, that's interesting. Noticing some things, right? So I started to think, what would happen if rather than demanding that my life deliver something to me that it clearly for 44 years hasn't been able to deliver on a consistent basis? What if I stop asking my life to deliver something to me it doesn't have the capacity to deliver, and then being mad about it? And instead recognize I had it all along, and our pace, our culture, our lack of contemplative teachings is what kept me from knowing that it was there. And so when you listen to like the powerful rich people, they start talking to you about manifesting stuff. They start talking to you about being on high vibrations. They start talking to you about magic. They might put it in different words, but they are like, oh no, yeah, I tap into the universal intelligence and I allow it to bring abundance to me. I don't worry. Right? The rest of us are like, it's gonna come one day. I'm gonna pray, 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 pray. It's gonna come, it's gonna come. It's like, there might be something to this, right? But we just notice these things. It's not like rocket science, right? This is consistent with what we might be thinking. But for me, it became close to my experience in a way that it hadn't before. Likely because my mindfulness practice is increasing. And so I'm aware of more and aware of components and aware of causes and what conditions are present right now. And so that is possible, right? That is possible. So through practice, through tuning into it, I think I shared once in a class, like we can lean our mind towards joy and happiness, right? It's almost like, let me just cut off the top of my head and put it this way for the universe to fill it. Yeah. I think also in that was or is on some level a like begrudging and like resentful, okay, I guess I'm fine. Right? There was like yeah, I'm not dying, fine. And there was like choice in that, right? And there's always choice in that. And so true happiness is unending, and it consists of shifting from a peace when the joy is slim, the circumstances are dark and heavy, to a happiness when the joy is abounding everywhere and you just can't help but smile and be giddy. So that our happiness doesn't become hooked on something outside of ourselves. We don't hold it ransom like, yeah, when I get that raise, then I'll let this happiness pervade my body, right? Maybe we can just not do that to ourselves. And And then it clicked. This is Sukha. This is the sweetness of life. It's like pointing your attention, your intention, and your perception towards something that is good and good for you and helpful and non-stressful. What we talked about before as being wisdom. Wisdom are things that bring you well-being and no stress. Lack of wisdom, ignorance, things that bring you stress, pain, and more suffering. And so that like regrettable, like that, like, fine, I'm okay. It's like an understanding of knowing that this is the way things are and they can't be any other way. Like, I think we are always like, no, it could be another way. And then in the same vein, we say, yes, and because of the things that I experienced, they made me who I am right now. Right. So things couldn't be another way, or you wouldn't be you.